Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 409. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez,
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley,
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero,
Yo, yo, yo.
Adam Vale,
How you doing? How you doing?
Brett Murdoch,
What up, people?
and Brian Majoma.
What up, people?
All right, people, we're back with another one. And we're going to start with the fun stuff first. Chris, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so.
We're going to talk about Sony financials because a lot of stories actually came out of this. The financial report and stuff. We brought you the Microsoft one, and Chris, shout out to you for trying to dig through, trying to find what we needed. But thankfully, you don't have to do it with the Sony ones. They very clean cut to the point, so we can just focus on PlayStations if we need to. So, whenever you're ready, toss up the graphs and stuff, and let's get into it, man.
Yo, man, throw
reports.
off them tea leaves.
Yeah, man, let's do this. No tea leaves, man. We get the whole tea, you know? It's crazy right now.
Oh, what was that?
But yeah, a lot of big news came out of all the financials. So, Chris, take it away, man.
So overall, I say Sony as a company, they're doing well, except for the only segment that seemed to be losing money was their financial services, which is something they exclusively run in Japan. That's not anything we need to worry about or talk about here. All the other segments, though, were doing well, including PlayStation, music. Even I usually rag on them for the imaging stuff because the cameras segment usually doesn't do that well, but even they had a profit.
Oh, wow.
So let me just find the chart with the breakdown. This is what we care about.
Yeah, the good stuff.
I always lose this goddamn chart.
There are a lot of pages, admittedly, you know?
Yeah. All right. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay.
Right.
This is what we care about. So let me start here. So overall, they had a 12% increase in sales, right? That's pretty good. I guess in Japan, it's favorable because since the dollar is falling, the yen's value against the dollar is increasing. So they said the impact of foreign exchange rate helped. Funny enough, even though their sales are higher, and actually that a big part of that was an increase in hardware sales, they noted a decrease in sales of non-first party sales, including add-on content. So they're saying third-party software actually dipped this last quarter. So it's pretty interesting. But overall, when I look at the numbers for digital software and add-on content sales, it was actually higher than last year. And this is in yen. I have a translated
Nice.
here. So you could see it's like 2.13 billion. This is in US dollars here. And then this quarter for this fiscal year is 2.25 billion. So that's an increase of I calculated 5.63%, but still an increase, right? So is that coming from first-party sales and their content? I don't understand that. I was very confused when I was running these numbers. I'm like, okay, obviously I'm reading this right. The sales are going up.
Yeah.
Your hardware sales were up, right? And then the breakdown network services was up, hardware was up, but the digital software was also up. But then they said, they made a note in here that they had a decrease in third parties. It's interesting.
So do you think it was their own digital, like first party that went up? Maybe.
It has to be. I'm just like confused by it, but I'm surprised they didn't make a note of it in this report. Like, wouldn't you say like we had an increase in first party software sales?
Yeah, right.
But they didn't say that. They just noted that third-party sales and add-on content had a decrease, so it's interesting. So operating income, you'll notice that they had a 49% significant decrease in operating income over last year, and that's actually significant because that impacted their actually cash and cash equivalent resources. So their liquidity for the entire company dropped. And I noticed that when I looked at the overall report for the whole Sony, and I was like, wow, the first thing in my head was like, wow, that Bungie sale must have been big to impact them like that. And they actually made a note of it here, recording expenses associated with acquisitions, including Bungie Inc. So that sale was substantial. I think they recorded it at 61 billion yen. So that's lowered their cash assets by a significant margin overall. They're also reported increasing cost of software game development. I guess, inflation's a global thing too. So there's, when your cash is worth less, so things ends up costing more. They noted the negative impact of foreign exchange rates, reflecting high ratio of U.S. dollar denomination costs. And in Western markets, you have to transact in that currency, and the Western dollar's not doing too well, so that has a negative impact. Again, they noted an impact and decrease in sales of non-first party titles, including add-on content. But they did note a decrease in losses from hardware. So in translation, hardware sales were better. So that was overall, and I'll show you this. I usually show this to compare how well Sony's doing company-wide, and I do this breakdown just so you see what impact Sony has on the overall revenue of Sony as a whole entire company, and I make these pie charts. So the one on the right is the current pie chart. You can see PlayStation's accounting for 25.6% of overall sales in Sony, and the next biggest segment is electronic products and services. I think they changed it to electronic technologies and solutions. It's the same thing. It's the television, all the electronic components, all that stuff, and then you have music, Sony Pictures, the imaging and sensors, financial services, and then other. I don't even know what's involved in other, but they listed. So the most significant part of the company again is PlayStation. It's in the entire software, hardware, and PSN is a significant part of the company's revenue, 25.6%. So it's the majority. And if we go here, you'd see the hardware had a significant jump. If my conversions are right, going from 1.44 billion to 1.71 billion this year over year, which is a change of 18.75%. Like I said, software jumped about 5.63% over this time last year, and network services is about like 790 million versus 680 million last year, roughly. So that's an increase of a little over 16% year over year. So yeah, they're doing better. The major impacts that you have to note from last year, when they were actually they had more liquidity and they still had high sales. They were mostly impacted by low hardware sales, but the software sales were strong. The change this year is buying Bungie. That's one major thing that impacted them. And then secondly, they're noting that third-party sales have slumped, and they're actually projecting that for the entire fiscal year till March of next year, that they will be still impacted by not low, but significantly less third-party sales and add-on content, which is interesting. Not sure because there's no details. There's no numbers in here saying this was our first-party sales, or it would be nice if they broke down like this was our first party revenue and this is third party revenue. They don't have that in here. So all I can do is look at their current values, and then you look at this bottom three charts, and this is their projections going forward for the next 6 months, right, for what's left of the year. And they note that they're going to they project further increase in hardware sales due to price revisions for PS5 hardware. Now, I'm not did the PS5 had a price drop?
No.
Had a price increase.
Had a price
No.
increase, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, that's where you if you have increased sales and you increase the price, then you make more money off the hardware. So
Yeah,
that was a change.
But that's not the price increase is not for the States, but it's everywhere else though.
Yeah, America's the only one that got excluded from that. By the way, did this thing say how many consoles PlayStation 5 sold? Because it's 25 million now.
No, unless it's in the supplemental data.
Yeah, it probably is.
Don't.
That's one of the things people dug up from this. Like, oh, it sold 25 million. And Sony, they expect to sell, like, a good amount in the next coming quarter and all that. Also interesting, remember how we said the PS5 was outselling the PS4 at the same time of year? It is no longer doing that. It's now lagging behind.
Man.
Yeah. But it has...
Okay, here...
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, you finish, and then I'll...
Yeah,
gives me a chance to read
this is something we said. It's already outsold Xbox Series. So Xbox Series is projected. Microsoft doesn't give out their numbers, like we said. It's projected to be about 18 million. So PlayStation 5 at 25 million. Obviously more than that, But anyway, continue.
Okay, so this is, if you guys can see this, and I'll read it for all the podcast people. So PS5 hardware, looking at hardware and software unit sales. So fiscal year 2021 was 11.5 million units. And then quarter one of 2022, 2.4, and Q2 was 3.3. So that I think that's the second highest quarter of sales they've had in the last 2 years. But that's not overall. Let's see if I can find this 25 million number, because that obviously is not lifetime. That's just the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's just the last 2 years exactly.
Yeah, physical hardware revenue.
Even though that is lifetime, if you for the PS5 at least,
Yeah, but that doesn't add up to 25 million though.
Yeah,
because
it's been 2 years now.
Yeah. What if it was November of when did it launch? 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be Q2.
Q2.
No, that'd be the Q4 20.
Remember, it might be their Q2,
Yeah.
It's 2020, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't be Q4, Carlos, because they're using a fiscal calendar, not the actual calendar. Yeah, so Q1 starts in April 1st. So that would have been Q2 2020, which is I don't have the complete numbers on here. So they're probably looking at last year's. If you took this supplemental from last year, then you could add up the total number of sales. But in the last 2 years, this would have been roughly 16 or 17 million, and then whatever is left over from the holiday, the quarter before this, then you'd get the total sales. But it's funny because their hardware sales are increasing. I mean, they had a great year. Q3 2021, 3.9 million. It jumped from the quarter before 3.3, and then it dropped to 2 Q4, and then it's going back up. And then, interesting with the other regions like Europe and whatever having a price increase, the sales still increased. I didn't take a hard look at the supplemental, but that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, but that's where we're at right now, 25 millions. And I want to know what percent, because remember the last time we checked, 10% of the units sold were scalpers bought them, but I wonder what the percentage in that is now.
Yeah,
I would
it
think
might not
that's
be that
impacting
high
the
anymore.
maybe that's also impacting the third-party sales because if, like we said, if scalpers own it, and then people aren't buying any of these games.
Well, that's something Jim Ryan even complained about.
Yeah.
The attach rate
Oh.
was low because there was a lot of. That's what it was. It was when PlayStation 5 sold 10 million. We learned that it was 10%. So we're like, oh, it's a million consoles that are not in real people's hands, or in assholes' hands. So
Yeah.
we don't know what the numbers are for that now, though. Oh, so these are like game sales right here. I see the
Yeah, it's
Bloodborne's on there.
cumulative sell-through units of selected PS4 and PS5 first-party titles. So yeah, there's PS4 titles on here. Obviously, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn. Wow, they went way back. Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima.
You also think that might have also been, people. Well, then again, a lot of those games was on that PS5 rollover plan, too. Where you get a bunch of classic 4 games.
Oh shit, dude, Mech in the house. What's up, man?
Yo,
I just want to point out that there seems to be another game that's oddly missing on this list.
Brian, here's the interesting thing. The first one is on here.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe it's forbidden from the list.
It makes no sense because Miles Morales is there, Demon Souls is there, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal's there.
Yeah, Returnal.
Yeah, that tells you something, don't it?
is Days Gone on there?
No.
Very interesting. But a certain Dawn game is on there.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I'll highlight it.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Very interesting. Ghost of Tsushima's on there.
Yeah, and along with the director's cut, they list both
Both of them, yeah. Brian, isn't that interesting?
Rift Apart is there.
Detroit.
Yeah, well, you have Spider-Man and Miles Morales. They separated them, but they're both on there.
I guess to give it maybe some inkling of a benefit of a kind of a doubt. Do they have any 2022 games there? I'm just trying to make excuses for them right now.
Well, it just says disclosed cumulative sell-through units. They're cherry picking. This is a cherry picked list.
That's a pure cherry pick list.
Yeah, I mean that's just fancy way of saying they're cherry picked their strongest titles. But what's funny is the only sub-million seller is Returnal, and they included it.
Interesting.
560,000 units worldwide,
right.
and they still put it on this list. So what does that say about certain Western game?
Yeah. Some Western game. Are they forbidden from talking about it? What's that on the horizon? Anyway, go on.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much that covers all the disclosure. I did not see anything else like of note. I mean, it could look at what was there. Here was their little paragraph on gaming network service. Was this it? No, this is
about the subscriptions. Anything on that, like PS? Because remember, we heard that this was interesting. Right? So PlayStation Plus lost 2 million subscribers, right? Yet the revenue was up for it. I'm guessing because the higher tiers and they cost so much, it kind of bumped it all up. But 2 million people just unsubscribed to it.
But does it count unsubscribing to that because they bumped up to the other one? So that counts as a new tier. So they're like, we lost 2 million from here, but did they amount how many they gained?
No, they just talking about followers in general. Like they had like 49 million before, now they have 47 million.
It's probably because they're seeing some of those whack games that are coming on there.
But they made more money. Go ahead, Brian.
It's been dropping down. It's actually in the same chart. If Chris can find it, actually, I think is when you're looking at the hardware sales of the devices, where it talks about how many they sold for each quarter. It was the one that had the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and had up to I think Q2 page. I don't know if.
You mean here?
Yeah. Yep. Go down slightly. So just the last one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So since Q3 of 21, it's been going down, which is fascinating.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, this was the peak. 48 million. Next quarter, 47.4, 47.3, and now Q2, where we are, 45.4. But the monthly active users, it's
See, so then this also brings
still
back
pretty
maybe
high.
this is that whole connection with Call of Duty and their fear. Is it if people are willing to cancel this, then that means that they're really not playing online. Maybe they feel like the majority of people that are playing online, from their numbers, we can't see it, are just people that are playing Call of Duty. Are there? I don't know. I don't know if there's any other big games that people are playing.
There's not really
Fortnite?
that many big games.
Fortnite.
Do they do that on PlayStation though? That's a big.
Oh no,
phone game.
that's free, right?
Yeah, it's free everywhere.
Yeah, Fortnite's free. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I think we even talked about this. Weren't they charging to play for Fortnite online? Like you had to have PSN Plus, but then they changed it.
No.
I could have sworn something.
That was Xbox.
Microsoft. Yeah,
Was that
Microsoft did
Microsoft?
that. That was they had a few things that were still behind the paywall. They removed that, but yeah, they had that. That was their controversy.
But yeah, I mean, the stuff with the price, they increased revenue, but they lost 2 million subscribers. I feel like losing the subscribers is a lot more important because that sort of momentum doesn't really, like, it could carry downwards instead of going up. And like Tony mentioned, it could have been just a case of a lot of people going from PSN Plus to one of the subscription tiers, the upper subscription tiers, and they got a boost in revenue and stuff.
Yeah.
So who knows?
That's one of the things, you know what, I'll talk about fanboys later. They were on one this week, boy. And this was one of the topics. Yeah, but they made more money. Fuck you care, man. Losing 2 million people is not a good thing, in any stretch of the imagination. But he says, no, but they made more money. Man, you're a horrible journalist. You didn't report that, did you? Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
I mean, if they made more money off less people, like, is that really bragging?
That's
Yeah.
not. Well,
Real?
they shouldn't be bragging in the first place. It's like,
Yeah.
here, faceless, heartless company. We're cheering for you.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What are you, poor? You can't afford a $550 VR headset? We're going to get to that topic too,
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Well,
Chris.
it's interesting because if you lose that many paid subscribers, but yet you are able to upconvert maybe the same or more to what's the tier? PS Plus, the next tier, like
Super Plus.
The names are so fucking stupid.
So-
Essential,
yeah,
I don't know, man.
yeah. So if you upconverted people, you upsold them to that next tier, right? But you, at least when you had a higher subscriber count, you didn't have maybe as much. You still had high monthly active users, but maybe not as many. You still were collecting that revenue. If you have a disengaged user and they're still paying for PS Plus, that's still revenue in your pocket. When you lose that person, you lose that was passive income that you've now lost. And that, what's to say now? In you don't have a first party product coming from Bungie for the next few years. We don't know when that's going to happen. So you don't have people really engaged. You're not offering much with these tiers. So who's to say that bleeding is going to stop? It's been happening, as Brian pointed out, since last year. After Q1 of 2021, you've been hemorrhaging subscribers. So I don't see a sign, and it's just gotten worse. So when you see an increase in turnover, right? It's like it just keeps going down, and this is the biggest drop since then. You had gains up until Q3, and then Q4 2021 starts tumbling down, and now it's at almost like a loss of 2 million since last quarter. And if you don't take stock of why people are leaving. It's probably because you don't have much to offer.
Yeah.
That bleeding is going to continue, and then you're going to start losing revenue. That network boost, even if you upconvert people, they'll eventually go, well, why did I boost my tier for? What did I get out of it? Nothing. Okay, then they leave, and then you start seeing the negative results. So this temporary boost, because they introduce new tiers, that's temporary, and it will get worse. If they will start losing money, they'll stagnate. So that's also, neither of those are good to show investors.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna. We'll talk about the fanboys later. But these guys were just like, they're still making more money though. Morons. Anyway, anything else we want to say about the financials? Very interesting stuff. Sony's not going broke, as some people say.
No, they're not going broke. They just took a hit in liquidity. I mean, it was a cash deal for Bungie, I'm assuming, because I looked. The first thing you see in the report is their cash and cash assets. I'm like, what? Why did they have such a dip? What did they do? And I was like, oh, they bought Bungie. That's why. And that affects the company as a whole. Like, that's cash that they have to lay out as a whole company. But so they have an increase in sales, but you can't count on tiers and price adjustments and whatever. Eventually, if you have disengaged people and they're actively canceling subscriptions, that it will catch up to you. Whenever I look at Q3, when would that happen? Either late January or early February. When I read this number, we'll see if it's lower. Because then, if this is lower, then the network segment is probably going to have a loss, and we'll see.
Yeah, very interesting stuff. All right, man, good stuff. Let us continue with some more stuff here. Let's get into it. PSVR2, the Revenge. So It is officially they announced the price, $550.
Oh my God.
And as the fanboys were quick to point out, because people were like, yo, that's fucking high. They're like, actually, because the original PSVR cost $400, but you needed to buy the accessories for it, and it actually came out to be about $550 itself. But we're in the middle of a fucking recession right now, so that's the difference,
Yeah. And
despite
then
what the dumbass government's telling you, yes, we are in recession. Anyway, go on.
Well, also, go ahead.
The thing is, also not to mention, like the amount of money, how much comparable VR helmets are, VR units are, for the enthusiasts are, not the consumer market ones. And they're for like the lowest ones are in the $400 to $300 ranges.
Yeah, the Quest 2, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have then there's the range above that, which is like 400, and then obviously there's the $1,000 ones. So it's like PlayStation is above the, the like maybe the lower tier of the units.
Yeah, but here's the interesting
but
thing,
not
right?
high.
So the Quest 2, it costs less than this, and it doesn't have wires. This does. Mm-hmm. This has one wire, right? And I'm pretty sure, because I believe, the specs wise, it's higher than this Quest 2, obviously. But yeah, I think that's pretty high.
A lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
And then especially
what the fanboys say. You mean you can't afford it?
Especially when you look at the games that they're offering for it.
I want to know if these games are going to cost $70.
Like some of those games are just sort of like weak titles. The only thing that they really have going for them, and obviously they have that silly bundle with Horizon, VR or whatever they want to call it. And, and that's like a $600 deal. So I don't know. Man.
Yeah, I don't exactly know what the fanboys want you to say here. It's like you're not going to buy a overpriced piece of hardware because it exists. It has to do something. Like Manny said, the titles are weak. If you have weak titles, what the hell are you going to spend $550 on this thing for?
Potential. It seems like that's what it seems like it is, like the potential of something. And then not to
By
mention,
the way, I
not to
guarantee
not
you.
to
I guarantee.
not to-
I'm sorry, Manny. I guarantee you that people saying all this stuff are not going to buy this thing anyway.
no, they're not going to even touch it. They're just looking at it as another feather they have in their
Yeah,
hat.
exactly.
The thing about it is like not to mention that this thing does not play any of the previous titles.
It doesn't.
So you're buying. So there's what is it? 10. They announced like 10 titles plus Horizon Zero Dawn, and then it can't play any of the previous games. Wouldn't sense dictate if you manage to make all those previous titles work on there and give more people more of a reason to invest in it? Hey, look, I can play Iron Man VR in a better play Iron Man VR in a better like situation with better frame rates, better this, better that. Graphics look a little more shinier, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
That makes too much sense.
Yeah. All right, Brett, go ahead.
Oh, now I can talk. No, I was just going to say the same thing Manny actually said. The only thing I want to throw in there is like, I want to point out they hit this weird price point where like everything on the market is either cheaper or better, sometimes both.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the part where I'm like really not understanding. I guess if we're criticizing the fanboys, I'm like, look, I get having a brand, I get being excited about a product and everything like that, but like objectively, I can't see a scenario where this is the best option. You know, no matter how much you strain or squint or whatever, like this, it's less supported, it's more expensive, and it's less capable. Like it's even if I put on my heaviest set of fanboy glasses, I don't understand where the draw for this comes from, other than maybe, hey, it's VR and PlayStation's ecosystem. But again, it's not like they supported it last time. I don't know why I would think they're going to do it this time, especially when there's a pretty robust catalog for the other VR devices.
Yeah, and the thing is like, okay, if we're going down the road of this being a consumer electronic, why is it so expensive? Is it are we feigning that this somehow is something better than what else is on the market? Because you can buy a cheaper unit that does way more shit than these things, than this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you don't need any cords.
Yeah, but I mean, they're selling the brand name, but the brand name isn't like it's not there for this product. Like if you're selling the brand name of like, hey, you're gonna get quality first party Sony titles, like that's their jam, right? Cool. Am I really to be expected that Sony's shoveling a bunch of money into developing AAA first party VR games? No.
No.
So
they're going to be a toe dip like that Horizon Zero Dawn game, whatever that is. That thing is not going to be like a full length game.
No.
At best you're going to get like maybe a 2-hour experience out of that thing. And I'm sure they're going to pay, charge $70 for that, right?
I'm imagining so. I can't say really, but like the only place where Sony could really leverage, this is the brand name, this is our company, the one you know and love. It's always the same thing. When you ask its most ardent fans, it's they have excellent, high budget, high quality first party games. You take that away, what's left of the brand?
Yeah, well, what's left of the brand is PlayStation 3 era PlayStation early on. It's what is it? What the hell is that stupid layer? It's Layer, it's shit like that.
I mean, I'm looking at these titles for PSVR2. Like most of them are third party.
Yep.
Like Dark Pictures, Switchback VR. A lot of these look like kiddie games. I don't know why you need a Cities VR. You tell me I need $550 VR glasses to play SimCity? Come on, Hello Neighbor, that game sucks.
Yeah, that's like a weird sequel. It's not actual Hello Neighbor, though.
Yeah, I don't care.
But again, nobody cares about that game.
Well, it's the same thing for the Horizon game. It's like not even a real Horizon game.
No,
Yeah,
it's not a
it's-
full
yeah.
Horizon game. It's Horizon Crossbow. It's the
Horizon Cross.
that's what it is.
I know what you mean. That's why I'm laughing. I remember that. Link's
Yeah.
crossbow training.
Yeah, that's Horizon Crossbow, or maybe Horizon Bow and Arrow, whatever. What do you want to call it?
It's the classic Sony toe dip. You know,
Exactly. But this is an expensive toe dip.
It's a two toe dip. I mean, they're not going to support it. Like they're expecting third party to put this,
Yeah.
in the consciousness of people's minds, and I doubt they're going to do as good of a job as some of the standalone headsets like the Oculus and those kinds of ones that are way more advanced and are wireless. So yeah, I don't see is anyone in here gonna get it?
Fuck no.
No.
I think even Brett, the Mr. VR is like, nope. Right, Brett?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm making dinner. I got bacon on my hands. That's correct.
Oh no.
Exactly. Bacon on your hands.
Here's
I
my
don't
thing,
care.
right? Okay, because I honestly believe that the original PSVR was so successful because of the price point, right?
Yes.
This shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think them. I think I really definitely think it's Sony misreading what their fan base is going to go for, and I think the reason why it did so well, it did what the numbers is because it was a consumer market VR helmet that wasn't absurdly priced. But now Sony's putting out an absurdly priced console with an absurdly priced, VR helmet, that costs about as much as the actual console itself.
Nah, no, costs more.
Costs more. All right.
Costs more. So think about it. You got to buy the console, $500. Buy
Yep.
this, $550. That's $1,500. $1,050 plus games.
Yeah. So what? I'm sorry. Like, people want to talk about premium experience. It just sounds like they're sort of gouging you out of something. And even that silly version of that comes with the Horizon game, that thing should just come with it.
That's $600.
That thing's $600. So number one, why don't they just cut that $600 one and say, okay, the $500 one is the one that you get, and it comes with the Horizon game. But it just sounds like they're gouging.
Well, here's the thing.
Happy, Carlos?
Go ahead,
Real quick,
Carlos.
Chris. It's a $500 console plus $500 and whatever $50 headset. So that's $1,050, and then let's say it's $50 for a game. Let's be easy. So that's $1,100 to play Horizon's Link's crossbow training game.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Now, will people invest in something like that? I don't think so. I think this new VR, as advanced as it is, it will not do as well as the previous one. Just because of the price point.
Well, yeah, and you have to look at the market factors around it.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the report that I just read, Sony is very, it's not very bullish about their forecast going into the end of this fiscal year. This thing launches before then, right? So you think they would mention they'll get a bump from this? They didn't.
No,
they didn't say that.
Because they know they're not.
Yeah, and also, people are, the recession's a bitch. Like you have like inflation stuff. People are entertainment. I always say this: entertainment's the first thing to take a hit. And this is a novelty. This is not even a console, right? This is truly a novelty item, and it's
Chris,
inexpensive. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say because I thought that too way back when we had that first recession in 2007. But remember, the console sales went up and game sales. Like I thought everything was going to drop. But all those games, people just kept buying. They kept making new versions of them. It was still the same one, but they would do different bundles and themes. And
the thing about it is that
and hard drives.
during that recession generation, they didn't randomly raise the prices of games.
Well, the recession didn't happen until 2008. Consoles released in 2005, 2006, and people don't start feeling the recession until they start losing their jobs, and that was like later on.
Yeah.
Well, in
So you take
2007, they at least I worked for the city, and they laid off all the provisionals. It was
Yeah,
only
but
people that were union. Everybody had to
Yeah,
go.
but the recession didn't really kick off until like 2008, though.
yeah.
You know, when the housing
Yeah.
market crashed.
Yeah, and that's what kicked off that recession versus this time you have kind of out of control inflation, and then you have the Fed raising rates and stuff, so interest rates keep going up. People see their mortgages going up, property taxes going up, all this stuff. So this is money you have to account for, like outflowing, right? So you spend less, right? So this affects everybody across the board. If you're a homeowner, if you are, even if you are financially secure, let's say you don't work, but you own your home, you still have to pay property taxes. Those go up, right? So now you have to account for this outflow of money. And for younger people, maybe you don't own a home or whatever, but now you're spending more to buy food, put gas in your car, or whatever. These are all outflows that you have to account for, right? That will curb your spending. So not necessarily that you lost your job, you just have more accounting that you have to do. That's like, I don't have an extra $550 to spend on PS VR2 and whatnot. It's like, what do I get for it? Hello Neighbor? No, thank you. I got to buy eggs today.
I
Yeah, man, eggs
oh,
are expensive.
and also let's talk about gas. You know?
I guess that's where the 2 million from the subs. Maybe that was it. They were like, well, if I'm not using the online and I already own all the games that they're offering in Plus.
Yeah, you're right. People are gonna, like, listen, I need to eat this month.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna pay for this fucking VR headset.
Not many people live close to where they can get the bomb and feed a family for $15.
Your boy.
Yeah, and subscriptions are affected. Look at Netflix. Netflix is bleeding subscribers, right? It's just an extra expense. If people can make do with, I don't know, whatever, Tubi or whatever, anything else. Maybe they have a happy place. I don't know. Yeah. You will cut that. You'll cut that first thing. It's like, shit, I don't need all these subscriptions. Plus, you paid for cable or whatever. You're just like, it's got to go.
Yeah.
That's why I was so surprised that all those services were trying to jack up the price, and now they're like, we're going to increase it. We're going to do it. So really, this is not the time to do that.
Well, those are two things because, first off, these companies, and Brett mentioned this in the last show, like these companies are expecting to appease the stockholders, and the way that they appease the stockholders is expecting more revenue than the quarter before. And the way they do that, I mean, everything's going up in price. They're spending more in a lot of stuff, shipping, R&D, production, everything. So what do they do? They raise up the price. And number two, we're still in the thick of new consoles. So don't underestimate the fact that people are still have to buy the consoles in order to even get the headsets. So headsets are going to lag. Especially considered to last time when they released pretty well into the generation when PS4 came out. This one, where people are still trying to get these consoles, and we're just hitting the holiday season right now.
Yeah, how many of those 25 million are going to buy this thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. Anyway, man, let's move on. Speaking
about scalp that.
Yeah, scalp that.
Also, right. By the way, there's one more thing on there.
Oh,
as of now,
one more thing.
As of now, you can't really buy it at any store. You can only really get it through PlayStation themselves.
Makes sense.
Did you get the email, Adam?
It's interesting.
Yeah, you can't buy a PS5 on the store either. So
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's move on. Still speaking about money.
Again,
recession or not, people need that Call of Duty fix. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 made $800 million in 3 days.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah. That's why I laugh when people are like, it's not going to do well. It's all what people say about the campaign. I'm like, do you have a middle finger pointed to yourself? Because you are an epic fail. You don't see the big picture. Because even when they had, like we mentioned before, the big name stars, the fucking Jon Snow and all of them in the campaign, and people shitted on those, and that whole version sucked, and they still sold gangbusters. Call of Duty's Call of Duty. Can't stop. It won't stop.
Yeah.
And this year's different,
This one is definitely different. Multiplayer is different, and I predict the revenue is just gonna like quadruple any other numbers just because of that third person. Every time I go in to play that, packed with people loving it. If you look on YouTube, people are just playing third person. They like to show off what they're doing.
This may be a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did the announcement that, Microsoft bought Activision have any effect on this?
I think so.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I was just wondering.
No, because they haven't. We know this, but they haven't made it officially announced anywhere. So it's still like, if you follow this industry, then yeah, this is something going down, but they haven't made it official. So
yeah, I don't think it affected anything. Call of Duty always sells, and when there's even more, there's years where games are more hyped up than even other different Call of Duty years, and this one's definitely it. Especially considering that this is the last Call of Duty that we're gonna get in 2 years.
Yeah, for another year. Yeah. I mean, the only way I would think it would make a difference if that deal already went through and this popped up on Game Pass day one. Then it's like, all right, well, where are the numbers? Did they really sell that much, or is this all coming to Game Pass? Subs, how are we tracking this? That'll be, if this whole thing happens with Activision, that'll be the next year or the year after. Because even though there's no official Call of Duty, we're still going to get Warzone. We're still going to get content and other add-ons. They're just not going to have a full release.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to say. It's Call of Duty. What do you expect?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty. And you saw all those caps I got. I got like almost 3 hours of time at double XP time. People hooking me up with the Mountain Dew caps. So if I run through,
I didn't realize those dudes drank that much Mountain Dew out there, man.
It's a Midwest drink. It was made out here. So
okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm like, who drinks that shit?
There's like 5 or 6 different flavors. There's like some live wires. I don't. They were showing me weird looking caps. I was like, what is this? Like it's a Mountain Dew. It's different versions. The only one I ever drink is Code Red. I love Code Red, that cherry one. But that's old. It's been around forever.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, moving on here. We got some comments for our boy Mr. Phil Spencer. So he said that Call of Duty will remain on PlayStation as long as there's a PlayStation. Ain't that something? So I guess that's official, isn't it? That's about
well, it's the wordplay. There will be a Call of Duty. We all know there's going to be a Call of Duty. It may not be the one you want.
He's saying that it will always be on PlayStation as long as the PlayStation platform exists.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
A Call of Duty.
Yeah,
a Call of Duty.
Could be.
There's 3 different franchises, and they said they have plans for more. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's the one you will want, but there will definitely be Call of Duty on there.
So you're saying like something like he'll keep like Black Ops 4 maybe Xbox exclusive, but he'll give them like a different one?
A whole other franchise. He's not going to cut them off on that. They'll be pissed off if they were like, what? We always had Black Ops. Well, you didn't have Call of Duty, I don't know, Spaceman, Superman, or what is some bullshit name, right? They'll make a whole other series, and then that one will be the one that's exclusive. And people can't bitch. They're like, well, first off, that Call of Duty series was never on the other platform. It's all new. You're still getting all the other ones. You're still going to get Black Ops 4 and then whatever, Spec Ops, whatever we do after. But this one, this is a separate one. That's all. Separate. And that's what he keeps saying. He didn't say, oh, yeah, you're always going to have the Call of Duty Modern Warfare. You're always going to have the Black Ops series. You're always going to have...
He just said Call of Duty.
He just said Call of Duty. And then, of course, we know Warzone. That's their free-to-play. They want that on everything. That's
Warzone, that's what I was thinking of.
That's it. That's free, and that's in 2 more weeks that comes out. And that'll always be there. So if anything, he can say, hey, what? Call of Duty. And then if he wants to show numbers, there's more people that play that than just a multiplayer of Call of Duty. Understandably, because it's free. Yeah, you jump in there. So if everyone wants to argue, he's like, well, you're keeping the most popular Call of Duty we have. Well, what's the problemo?
Yeah, and he did say that he wanted to be like Minecraft. So yeah, it doesn't have to be the mainline game. Could it just be, like you said, Warzone?
Mm-hmm. Because that was it. He just said Call of Duty. He didn't say all the other ones. And that was the key. If he ever comes out and says, listen, guaranteeing the next Modern Warfare 5, 4, whatever, those are all going to be on there. And the black, okay, now you're going through all the other parts of the franchise. No, you just said you're guaranteeing that there will be a Call of Duty game of some sort on the PlayStation.
Yeah. Interesting. All right, and then the other thing he said is that he is very aware that Xbox hasn't had a big name game in a very, very long time.
That's true.
Which is
I wonder who's been saying that.
Yeah. See, at least he's not sugarcoating the shit and say, "What? Halo was a success. We look." No. Epic fail. We know.
Yeah. So he says, next year will be better. Yeah, they do have a certain game coming.
Wait for E3.
Wait for E3.
Yeah. Next year we got a few good games.
Well, they got they got the space game.
Phil, why you a pony?
Yeah.
What, Starfall? Is it? Or Starfield?
Starfield, yeah.
Yeah, Starfield.
Gear
Isn't that
6, Chris.
isn't
Gear
that other
6.
crazy? Isn't that other crazy game that we can't name what it is coming out pretty soon?
Redfall?
Yeah, no, that's the crazy one. Nobody knows what the game is about. It just looks cool.
Oh, well, Redfall is the shooter kind of.
Vampire.
That's a vampire one.
Yeah,
no, it's not that. There's this one.
Atomic something.
Yeah, that one.
That one. Yeah, that's next year too.
Atomic? You mean the?
Yeah.
Isn't that the Rick and Morty one?
No. That's Atomic Hearts is what he's doing. Yeah, that's not the Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty one's another one. It was that really long cinematic trailer that they released that looks really cool. We're like, oh, what's this? All this craziness going on.
You just don't know what's going on. They show like cybernetic stuff. They show like freaking aliens. They show like these crazy there's just like so much stuff that looks cool, but you don't know what the game is about at all.
Atomic Heart sounds like a '90s movie.
Yeah,
it does.
And what about that weird Pinocchio? Isn't that?
Oh yeah, Liza P.
Liza P.
Liza P is a PlayStation game, as I remember, isn't it?
But they said it was a Game Pass. That was a day one.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Right, I'm watching this trailer right now for Atomic Heart.
Yeah, it's so much crazy shit going on, and you're like, "What's going on?" Looks cool.
Yeah, it looks very cool.
Yeah, this doesn't look familiar to me at all.
You've seen it.
We watched it together. We watched.
Yeah, we watched it the last time. Yeah. You just weren't interested in it.
Yeah.
Again, we literally was on it. We actually watched the thing that this premiered on.
Yeah, this doesn't ring any bells. And I'll probably forget it after the show's over. Because I already got
for
bored.
Bison, it was Tuesday.
I already got bored of the trailer. All right.
And I was like, thanks for throwing down your questions. Now let's all have a good night, and we'll see you Thursday.
Tony, what did you think of Atomic Heart? What the fuck are you talking about? What is that?
The 80s movie?
It's like an 80s movie, All right. So yeah, no duh. Xbox needs to, some big heavy hitters.
Well, I mean, it's nice to hear him admit it, but at the same time,
here's my fear. That's two fears. One, that because they got a shitload of studios. And we know we're going to get all these games, but one fear, they're all duds. That'd be horrible. You got to have at least one hit out of.
Gotta have something, Carlos.
At least one. And then two, that when they all start coming out, it's going to be like a bottleneck because they've been sitting around so long. Instead of having them all spread out, they're all just going to flood in, and it's just going to cannibalize the market because there's only so much money to go around. And so that's going to be a problem because it looks like from what we see, it's always like, oh, it's coming in March and April. That's something.
That's a problem with the industry in general, though.
That's what, yeah.
It's like we have these long droughts, and then everything drops at the same time.
Yeah, you can't.
It's like, spread it out like butter.
Yeah, they're gonna have to try to figure something out and spread out. And also the worst is we don't know what type of games. And what if they're all the same type? Oh, we got like 5 or 6 different first-person shooters coming out in March, and 3 fantasy, and another 4. And some people may say, "Oh, that's great. We have variety." And then another person will be like, "This is too much at one time." Now I'm just gonna get one of these and call it a day, unless they're all on Game Pass. Then, which they should be, because it's Microsoft, and then that's when they hit us with the, we're jacking up the price.
Remember that price?
That's going down now.
It's going down now, man. With that game that you really want to play, something or other.
we got another game coming out. It's called Run Your Pockets. All right, here we go. Here we go.
All right, man. Moving on here. Okay, so the EU now is going to launch an advanced Microsoft-Activision probe. That sounds very ominous. But yeah, like this deal is still being scrutinized by all these government agencies. Now it's the EU getting in there. They're gonna launch that probe deep.
Jim Ryan's like, good.
Man, I mean, I'm telling you, I mean, we always talk about like how we've seen a bunch of these shady companies and documentaries about how shady everybody is. All these places are. Everything. It's all about greasing palms, and that's all I think of. It's like everybody's like, we're going to do an investigation also. Come see us. And it's like, all right, bring a briefcase also. And all right, you know what? You paid the right amount. You may pass. Now go through the next. They got some more shit. They got some more shit.
Okay, so yeah, we already had the Brazilian court go through this. We had the UK court. Now we have the EU getting in there,
Did they? I don't recall if they had this issue with the other dudes, the Fallout.
No, they didn't because those motherfuckers don't got no Call of Duty.
I know, but they had a shitload of studios. Remember, they got a lot
but none
of
them had a Call of Duty. I guarantee you, some kids, some senator's kid, Dad, they're gonna take my Call of Duty away. They said it on Twitter.
Don't worry, son. We'll keep that on the Nintendo. It'll be fine. Because for older folk, everything's a Nintendo.
Okay, so it says the European Commission has been making inquiries of Microsoft's rivals about its cloud services, which came up a lot in Microsoft's recent submission to the UK competition. Oh, it's the CMA, their version of the FTC. Yeah. So everything is scrutinized, boy, But I still think the deal's going to go through anyway,
It's definitely going to go through. It's just... If they were the king of the hill, if they were where Sony is now, then they wouldn't, because they're like, shit, now you're really monopolizing. Damn, you're doing everything. But they're not. They're in third place when it comes to the console market. So as long as they can keep playing that card, hey, look, this is the only way we can play any catch up is with our wallet. I'm sorry. This is just how it is. And we're software. Are you running Windows on your computers? Yeah, well, that's what we do, man. So we're buying more software. It's not foreign to us.
It's wild. When did they say this deal was supposed to be like over or finalized?
Oh, just like all the other games. March and April.
March. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, just around that.
Yeah. All right, moving on. All right, now we got to talk about our boy Hideo Kojima. He's been making the news lately as well. So let's run through these one by one. There's 3 things here we got to discuss. So Kojima has spoken out about his thoughts on the whole abandoned conspiracy. Why am I not surprised he was talking to Jeff Keighley about this?
What game is that, Tony?
Abandoned, the game that was abandoned.
Never heard of this game before, Tony. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. By the way, I do have a question before you go
on. This shit is hilarious already. Anyway, go on.
How does it? I haven't heard the podcast yet, but how does it work when Jeff Keighley's on? Does Kojima just speak in English?
Yeah, who translates?
Or is he translated in real time? And Jeff Keighley's like,
Keighley's purposely learned Japanese to hang out with his boy.
No, it's localized. It's actually dubbed, so there's like a double feature. My guess is the way they'll do is, I haven't actually watched these things, but as I remember, they're all localized. So,
yeah. So this is what Kojima said: users just kept sending me pictures of this Hassan. They still send. Hello,
Hassan.
Yeah, this Hassan. They still send me collages and deep fake images like 20 times a day. It's really quite a nuisance. Oh my god! So yeah, that's what he basically said about it. It's a nuisance. So yeah, hold on. When we did that Moby Dick thing, you, Jeff Keighley, were in on the whole thing. That was pretty fun. But people should know that I wouldn't do the same thing twice.
Which I said.
Yeah, we all said that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, why would he pull the same bullshit trick twice?
Yeah.
Granted, he did pull the same bullshit trick twice with PT and with Metal Gear 5.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, PT was also under a fake game development studio.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He also said, I have never spoken with Hassan. The game is yet to be released. I don't think there's much he can do or say at this point. But if he releases the game, people might understand. So maybe he should just hurry up and release it.
Never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh, it's not happening at all. You've seen his track record, you know?
Well, yeah. Well, and
The lack of a track record. There you go.
Why was Jeff Keighley favoriting Hassan's bullshit in the first place?
That added to that bullshit.
That added to it. It's like he knows something. Like, why would you be even doing that? Doesn't make any sense. And if anything, this makes everybody involved, like Sony and all these other people, look stupid. Right? Because isn't he supposedly connected to Sony somehow?
Yeah, I don't know why.
They were promoting his game. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. And friggin' what's his face is pulling it too. Shohei Yoshida's favoriting the tweets by Hassan too. You know, this seems a bit fishy in general.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just liked the trolling. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, but okay. So that's what Kojima had to say about that. This is another interesting. Apparently, Kojima has rejected ridiculously high acquisition offers. So apparently, some entities have been approaching him to acquire Kojima Productions. He's rejected every single one of them because
he wants that freedom.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's tired of that shit. He doesn't want to work for the man no more. He wants to make his own shit.
I wonder if Phil Spencer came up to him.
He's not Bungie. Who hypocrites can say that, but like, oh, we want our freedom. Then they go to Activision.
Yeah, right.
Remember that? Like, it's like, yo,
we don't want to be the Halo studio. Right? Yo, let's go to Activision. They'll treat us right. We got something better. You're the Destiny studio.
And then even after that, remember, like, yeah, we got our freedom. We're done. Then they took all this money from Tencent, and then now they sold to Sony.
Yeah.
I said when that shit was announced with them and Activision breaking up, I'm like, wait for them to go up to someone's fucking arms right after. It didn't take long. They got bought.
They don't know how to be single.
They always have to be married.
Exactly. They always got to be in a relationship. They can't be alone.
But yeah, Kojima says every day I'm approached by offers all over the world to buy our studio. And he goes, and some have had ridiculously high prices.
It's not about money. At some point, he's already rich. It's not about that anymore.
No, I think in general he just is tired of the. If he's gonna, he's on what? How many more years does he have
to live? Holy shit! Whoa.
No, I'm saying how many more years does he have of making games? Look at when you look at the age of somebody like a Miyamoto. Miyamoto hasn't made any fucking games in over almost 20 years now.
Right? He's got a cushy window seat. All he has to do is oversee Universal and make sure the animatronics work. That's all he's doing.
Yeah, that's all he's doing. So, like for Kojima, how long does he have? Till he's when he's making games, is he going to be the oldest game developer? Eventually, it's gonna, he's gonna not want to do this anymore. So, might as well spend like he's 60 now.
Something
so
like
might
that,
as well
probably.
spend 60, he's at least 60 or something. So what does he want to do for the last maybe 20 30 years of his life? Make the shit that he wants to make.
Well, that's literally what he said here. He goes, I want to make what I want to make.
Exactly. But the question is, will people want to make his crazy ass games? That's the other question, because he's got to sell people on these ideas.
He could be what was that dude that you liked in the movie Fitch? What's his name that did Twin Peaks?
Oh, David Lynch.
David
there you
Lynch.
go. David Lynch. David Lynch. He could be the David Lynch then of gaming.
He's the David Lynch of video games.
Yeah, he's like
making YouTube videos telling you what day it is.
Yeah, right. You wackadoodle games. Like, what the hell is going on here? Why is there a baby in a jar? What?
Yeah, and the last thing, Manny, you probably know about this one. The horror game that he's working on has apparently been leaked. Some images. The game's called Overdose, and it seems to star one of the girls from Death Stranding. I can't explain it. The dark-haired girl with the glasses. He's
what's
using
her?
that
It's
same actress again.
it's that's Ethan Hawke's daughter, as I remember.
Oh, really?
Oh, so that's
Yeah.
she's in Stranger Things.
No, it's not Ethan.
Another
Hawke.
one?
Let's see. Who is it? No, it's sorry. That's
It's the girl who played Mama.
yeah, the girl who played Mama. She's got a famous parents.
Oh, Margaret Qualley is her name. Is that her?
Oh,
name?
is it
Yeah.
Quaid? Is she Dennis
no,
Quaid?
that's not Mama. Margaret Qualley, is it?
I'll look it up.
No.
Anyway, so
She was
it's that actress, and she's in this new game called Overdose, and some images were posted in a private server and were leaked. You know.
Oh,
Oops.
Interesting.
Not so private if it's being leaked. Can't trust nobody. It's like, yo, there's only 3 people: Jimmy and my mom. One of those people.
Her real name's Margaret Qualley. So there you go. Damn, she's 28. Damn.
She's the daughter of Andy McDowell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not Roddy McDowell. Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell.
Interesting stuff. So we don't know anything about this game. It's just it got leaked. So obviously it's a Kojima game. So motherfuckers went crazy. You know. Pretty interesting. But we don't know anything about that beyond just screenshots. It's just and it seems like this may be the Xbox game. Which is kind of interesting.
Is it? I can't remember.
Well, people are just kind of putting 2 and 2 together. You know, they're like, oh wait, you know, he's coming out with a new Xbox game. Maybe this is it. You know, so we can't say that for sure at the moment. But the thing is, Kojima's been teasing something this week. You know, the studio has, and it seems like this may have preempted that. So maybe we'll get something soon. You know when we're probably going to get it, let's be real. Game Awards.
Yeah, it's gonna come out the Game Awards.
Because Kojima Productions has been teasing something all week. You know, they've been doing not a countdown, but they've been teasing something, you know?
Well, no, he's been tweeting all kinds of weird stuff, so.
Yeah,
right now he's been tweeting the actresses and some of the people involved and his friends he's been scanning.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That girl was in as I remember in what the hell game was that movie was that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep, that was her.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good film.
I like that. Good twist.
All right, good stuff. And the last stuff we're going to talk about here is some Square-Enix news. So apparently they said they're going to start focusing more on the global market because of Japan's graying demographics. Because you know what that means. You know, they apparently have the largest elderly population on Earth, like, you know, within like a country or whatever. You know.
Oh yeah, you have a low birth rate, and the population is getting older. So naturally, the average age of men and women go up.
Yeah, so because of that, you know, they're trying to focus on like the rest of the world because not a lot of games are going to be bought by these geezers, you know.
Geezers.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: that's like they have a rabid fan base for a lot of this sort of stuff. So I mean, it's a very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, in general, in Japan, I don't think. I mean, granted, yes, they do have a lot of elderly, but at the same time, it's like there's a lot of people that love this stuff that they're going through, and like it sounds like they want to get back into the Western development again. But they just sold the studio that did their Western development games.
Yeah, they did.
I understand that they're trying to attract the world market, but this is by doing what you do best, not by doing what everybody else does. Because I'm going to say this:
they need to advertise. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Square Enix has had some games released, quite a bit of games released really recently, and they're all bombs.
Yeah.
But with the exception of Final Fantasy, every single one of their releases since then have been bombs.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Final Fantasy 14, that studio wouldn't be doing too well, you know?
Yeah. And then what's the next thing that they got going?
Forspoken.
They got Forspoken, and
no.
and they keep pushing that game back. Why is that? That's them attempting to make a Western game. It sounds like they're doing what Capcom was doing, like 20 years ago.
Wait,
When they were attempting to make Western style games.
This is Square Enix, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they just sold their Western studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Manny was
Yeah, they just sold their Western studios, and they said they want to start focusing on the rest of the world. That's the
no,
West.
they said they wanted to focus on NFTs. How'd that work out?
That's the other thing. That's the other piece of news we got to talk about. Okay, so earlier this week, people thought Square Enix was teasing a new Parasite Eve game, right?
Oh no!
No,
Parasite NFTs.
it's an NFT instead. It's not Parasite Eve though. It's something called Symbiogenesis, a new NFT collectible art project. Here we go.
Epic fail.
Somebody over there is like, are they trying to sabotage their own business? Seriously.
Yeah, let me read this stupid statement. Symbiogenesis is a brand new entertainment content set in a self-contained world where a wide cast of characters. I already lost interest. The art can be used for social media profile pictures and as a character in a story that takes place in an alternate world where the player can whatever. Who cares? This is so stupid.
Man.
Yeah, come on, Square Enix. Who's in charge over this? Somebody needs to get rid of whatever that is.
I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. I hope this fucking bombs. I hope this bombs. Because we
To
don't
be honest,
need this.
it is going to bomb. That's the problem. Like it seems like they're maybe a few years too late to catch this NFT bullshit.
Okay, so this is, I'm reading this from IGN. So just to kind of clarify, the whole Parasite Eve connection. Not much else is known about this Web3 project, but last month Square Enix trademarked Symbiogenesis in Japan. It was rumored to be some sort of Parasite Eve revival due to the word symbiogenesis, meaning a process where two separate organisms combine to create one. Notably, this process is the basis for Parasite Eve's story. So that's where people started going, "Oh shit!"
So it was a mental leap, essentially.
Yeah, a mental leap in the gaming community, Manny? No,
Yes.
never. Never.
I call that though.
Go ahead, Brett.
If you told me there was a Xenomorph game and it wasn't a fucking Aliens game, I'd be fucking pissed. I don't give a shit what you call it.
If they use it, if they use some sort of name that seemed connected to aliens, and then it wasn't an Aliens game, that's pretty messed up. That's like me in the X-Files and it not being about the X-Men.
But remember, they didn't announce it.
Advertising.
Yeah, but no. But remember, they didn't advertise it. Somebody found it out.
No, that's what I'm saying. The term xenomorph doesn't necessarily mean the creature from the movie Aliens.
Yeah.
But when I hear xenomorph, I fucking think of that shit.
Yeah.
Biogenesis? Come on. That's not like that. What's that?
Symbiogenesis.
Symbiogenesis, yeah. Like, that's not a fucking casual throw around. I'm not saying that they're in the wrong, but I'm saying I can understand where people got confused.
Yeah. But remember, Square Enix themselves didn't advertise it until today. Somebody just found a trademark for this last month, or last year, or whatever the fuck it was. So it wasn't like false advertisement because they didn't advertise.
No, I didn't say it was false advertisement. I just said it's an understandable mistake because, like, when the fuck else are you going to hear that word?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know enough about Parasite Eve to know that. So
okay, like if I said like necromorph, you'd be like Dead Space, right? Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure, but like I don't think it has to be Dead Space to be technically a necromorph.
Yeah.
Oh, necromorph. Necrophiliac.
Where was it? Was it it sounds like a metal group.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yo, what's going on, Toon Medic? He goes, Tony losing interest during the middle of reading something always makes him laugh. It got boring. I got bored with it just reading this shit. Man,
you got to see. Even when it comes to reading, like copy, if it's not popping, man, Tony gonna drop that shit.
Yeah, that's how it is. I don't have patience for this stuff. But yeah,
Tony's incapable of not keeping it real.
Yeah, this is true. You know what I'm not what I can't. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't have patience for NFTs. There you go. There's the short of it.
There's no such thing. It's not. It's NFT is not a thing anymore.
NFT
People
stands for
have to
not
be
for
buying
Tony. You know,
But somebody has to be buying this stuff for all these companies.
idiots buy this stuff. There's like
You know what
5
it
people in the
is?
whole
It's
world
a-
that buy this shit.
it's a-
They
it's a
circulate it
freaking-
among each other. You know,
It's a friggin' scam. That's
It
all
is.
it is, because
Yeah.
all it is based. All it is based off of is money putting. People putting money into it. There's not
yeah.
worth a damn thing.
Yeah, and
So,
they're banking on you thinking that. Then you're like, well, I'll buy one and then sell it because somebody's buying these things.
yeah, but then you look at all the and then again, there's no parity between any of the NFT stuff. So each one of these things has a different rule. Some of these companies are like, oh yeah, you can get this NFT, but you can't sell it. You can't legally sell it to someone else.
Because you don't know, man.
So it's like, yeah, it's not anything. It's a total scam, and the sad part is that a bunch of legitimate corporations and legitimate people seem to be investing
yeah,
in
because
it.
they think there's something worthwhile in this. You know,
Yeah,
when there isn't.
It's that FOMO. Everybody wants to
That's
jump
exactly
on
what it is.
everything.
Like you could smell that shit, that get rich quick stuff. Like you just know it. Again, my issue is not with the technology; it is with the mentality behind it. Because we've seen this before.
It's the old Kansas City Shuffle, man. You guys know what that is?
No, I'm not from Kansas, so I don't know what that is.
not a dance, is it?
Is it Tuesday?
Nah.
Dance, yeah.
Kansas City Shuffle is when you pull a con on somebody, but the con is part of the con is them recognizing it's a con and then kind of playing into it, right? So the whole thing with NFTs is even the people investing in it think that it's bullshit, but they think that they're getting over on somebody else who's dumb enough to buy these things. If they're buying and selling them, they'll sell them to the idiots. And they're laughing all the way to the bank as they buy their NFTs and laughing about the idiots who are going to buy these NFTs from them. And then when they go to sell them, like, oh, nobody wants them. Turns out you were the asshole all along.
I'm like a pyramid scheme then.
It's a pump and dump, but they failed to pump, or they failed to dump, and they got stuck with a bag.
Oh,
Yep.
shit.
Oh, did you see the stocks were going up for GameStop?
Again?
Yeah, it started jumping up.
Is this
again.
legitimate, or is it the
I don't
stocks
know.
version
No
of
one
it?
No one knows, but they said it started coming up again. I listened to the news. It was on Monday or Tuesday. They was like, hey, stocks, GameStop is back up on the charts. So, I don't know, people trying to do a round two. Fight.
Round two fight.
Right.
All right, man. All right, guess we're done here. I guess we got to talk about God of War, right?
Yo, man, I heard about that. What's that all about?
Yeah. The game's coming out next week on Woden Day. Odin Day. People don't know that, by the way. Wednesday is Odin's Day.
Well, Thursday is Thor's Day.
Yeah, and the review embargo broke on Thor's Day. So yeah, my review went up not this morning at 12. Thank you, Sony. We actually lifted the embargo when people are actually awake. Which is nice. Game is dope. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which is, as many of my older fans know, that's a Tony perfect. I don't give 5 out of 5s. I don't give 10 out of 10s. I give just a little below that because no game is perfect. But yeah, the game's fucking dope. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm actually enjoying it even more now that I don't have to rush through it. I had to rush through it for the review, obviously. But yeah, it's great, man. I heard some people say it kind of like lags in some places. I do understand that, but like when it comes together, like towards like the latter half, it's like, oh shit, this is crazy right now. Very satisfying ending. And I do like how the game pretty much picks up where the last one left off, if you know how that one left off, which is pretty cool. Blitz goes, is it your net game of the year, or is it still Elden Ring? I got to debate that, because here's the problem. God of War would normally instantly just win game of the year just because God of War, and it has a story, but Elden Ring has too much power, man. A game is good for me if like the gameplay is enough to carry it, because gameplay, that's actually not the most important thing for me. It's the characters and the story in the world is more important. Gameplay is kind of secondary, but the gameplay in Elden Ring was so fucking good, and then the interactions I had with playing with you guys here and everywhere, it's like, This is a tough one. I don't know. When I finish playing God of War a second time, I'll let you know. Because now I'm playing it like the way I want to play it. I'm doing all the side shit and everything, But those two games are definitely the top of the year. But then again, it's not saying much. This year was so fucking whack. I always keep a list of the games I've beaten in a year. I've only beaten 6 games this year. And I've only played 6 games this year. It's been a bad year. It's been a very bad year for gaming for me, But this game was legit. See, I'd rather play 6 high-quality games in 1 year than like 20 meh games, So I'm okay with that. And the last game we're getting this year is Callisto Protocol. Excuse me? So that may be enough.
I don't like when people get too hyped on this.
No, I'm getting hyped.
Don't
take that away from me, Adam. Let me get hyped.
Don't do that. Come on, we've been let down too many times.
No. You do that shit with Call of Duty, man.
Oh, no!
I don't do it with Call of Duty.
Every year's different, right?
No.
It's different, man. Because Call of Duty's a staple.
Only for this one. There was nothing different last year.
The
year before that was different, though. They had campaigns.
We got bookmark that.
They had multiple endings in Cold War. That was different. Vanguard had nothing different. That's why they cut that shit short. 25 seasons.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions for me about the God of Wars, go ahead and toss them at me. But yeah, very good game. And again, but I do have to also address some of the haters, which is hilarious. I literally said, last week when the preview embargo went, I didn't write the preview. My editor wrote that because we're like, one guy should do one and the other guy should do the other, So he wrote that. I'm like, I could give my opinion on some shit, at least the first couple hours. I said, I like this game. It feels like a PS4 game, Oh, motherfuckers. They ignored the first part and twisted the second part to, I hate cross-gen games, right? And it's like, no, I can say I like a game and still acknowledge it feels like an old game. Just because it feels like an old game doesn't mean it's bad. But again, that level of subtlety is beyond Twitter, obviously. So being my boy Gene Park, who gave the game a 95 out of 100, by the way, we became Twitter villains that weekend. And then today, surprise, surprise, none of the people that talk shit came to apologize to me. Isn't that interesting? But yeah, so and then people are like, how come you changed your mind? I'm like, I didn't change my mind about anything. I like the game, then I still like it now. Where's the changing of my mind part? You
have to love everything about it.
Blitz, where do you feel a PS only version would improve? No load screens for one. Gene Park was right about that. There are a crazy amount of fucking crawl through the wall things. And I have to say this, Sony Santa Monica, I love you, but I kind of don't buy that excuse, man. That is like, no, those are just stylistic choices. No.
Did they do the?
No, I don't buy that.
They're meant to slow things down, so they could deload what's behind you and load what's in front of you. It's simple.
Remember when in the first one, the first one of the 2018, when you had to do those long walk mazes or whatever to get to a door, then that's.
Yeah, this one has just a crazy amount of these little things you got to crawl through. It's like, okay, I see that's the stuff that screamed to me. This is a PS4 game, right? But it's a limit of the technology. Matter of fact, I didn't have this in the show notes, but the Silent Hill remake, the developers specifically said we wanted this to be on PS5, so we didn't have to have any load screens. That tells you something right there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is that, you either have to do one or two things when it comes to the previous generation, like, normal hard drives. You have to slow things down so that you can load things out and then load what's newly in there. There's just the difference is they either hide the load time with something like, oh, hey, they're climbing through a hole. Yeah. Or, back in the old days, on PlayStation 3 era, they used to run a video, and then behind the video, they're loading the next part of the level.
Yeah.
Was this filmed the same way, like one long track?
It's one shot.
Yeah. They tried to do right. Yeah, they did that.
They did. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like it. I mean, at least from what I can gather from looking at it, it seems like it's very much of a continuation, almost like one just starts right off from the previous one, or just like it just continues.
It starts.
Is he at the door? Is he at the door of the cabin? That's all I need to know. Is he at the door of the cabin again? I don't know. I don't need to know anybody. It's at the door.
Oh yeah.
That's him.
Yeah. Well, I could say Sony tells you who it is. It's Thor. You know, he's in the
No,
trailer.
I know that, but I wasn't. You said it started right off, and now
well, not actually. It starts like let's just say it starts about 2 hours before that happens. You know, like it starts a little bit before that. You see Kratos and Atreus doing their thing, right? And then Thor shows up.
Because Rich was telling me that there's a big time jump. It did like a time jump.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there was a time jump in the last game. Remember, they said years later. Remember, and we could talk about that in the last game. We don't care. You know, the game ended, and then there were credits, and then it said years later. So this is years later.
Yeah, this years later, and it also explains why Atreus' voice is lower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I heard. So this game's coming out on Wednesday.
Yeah, Odin's Day.
Odin's Day,
which is, I still think it's like. Have we seen this recently? They're doing it because of that.
It's an Odin Day.
Yeah. Although I think they should have been Thursday for Thor's Day. You know.
Yeah, they should have done that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the games. I've talked to a couple of people that have played it, and yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm excited about a video game.
You're gonna play a game? Holy shit!
Well,
I know, right? He never wants to play.
All they had to do was release. All they had to do was release one worth playing, and they got me.
Yeah.
Once I was out, they keep bringing me back in.
I'm trying to get out.
But yeah, good game. Go buy it. I literally say that in my room. Like, listen, just fucking buy the game. Like, just buy it. It's dope.
Just go buy it.
Just go buy it.
Do it.
You know?
Do it.
I actually do have questions. The first one is, does it tease a third game?
I can't answer that, Brian.
So okay, so I know the answer.
I can answer. No, I'll answer it after the show.
Yeah, but you just gave the answer. You just gave.
Yeah.
What's a spoiler? I can't answer it.
You could have just said no, and then that could have been.
That's a spoiler too, wouldn't it be?
That's a spoiler.
Yes or
Ryan,
no?
do you have any questions that will not spoil stuff for the people?
How about this? Does it end like God of War 1, where Kratos is on the mountain and it's like the end of the story, or does it end like
Brian,
God of War 2?
I can't answer that.
No.
I don't know what kind of questions those are.
As in, is it a definite ending where
I can't answer that on Brian?
See, so then that means that they kind of leave it open.
No,
and
it
say
means
that
I don't want to get in trouble by Sony. I'll answer you after the show.
All the reviews are out already.
Yeah.
So it's,
they don't tell you what the ending is.
They don't tell you how it ends.
Yeah.
I'm not asking what the ending is. I'm saying, is it like, do they actually close the book?
After the
is it like,
show. I'll answer after the show, Brian. I answer. You're gonna get me in trouble. You know.
Okay.
Now, did you play the PlayStation one or the Xbox version? Oh, tell me after the show. Tell me after the show.
I played it on
GameCube. Let's talk about it after the show.
He played it on the deck. That's what the only place to play it.
There you go, man.
Yeah. Blitz, don't worry. I'm not answering that question, bro. Don't worry about it. I'm not answering that question. You know.
He said, did he ask, question, why is it that Bombs always ask me for money and I ain't got any? Funk that. Get a job.
Oh, okay. Here's one I know you can answer.
Okay.
It makes sense. How do they fix the abilities problem?
What's the okay? First of all, because you were talking about this off air last time. What is the abilities problem?
I don't abilities. We're like, you know how like, at the start of the game they give you like the powers and then they take them away. Like, is that like how do they solve that issue? Because again, in God of War 1, like you got like this massive arsenal
so
stuff.
You have all
and
your
then
stuff.
do you still have it in this, or do they just kind of say, "Oh no, like bullshit, wishy-washy, lost soul"?
I got you. Yeah.
Kratos lost his axe down the toilet.
Yeah.
No. You keep all your equipment, but you do have to like kind of rebuild some of your combos. But you get all new ones. You don't get some of the older ones, I believe.
So you can't.
Kratos forgot his old combos.
But you do keep all your old equipment is there from the jump. You know. Like I never felt like, oh fuck, you know.
You didn't need to. You don't need to go pick up a mirror again somewhere.
No.
Oh,
it's not like that.
I lost
Brian. It's not like Mass Effect, you know.
Okay. Yeah. Mostly that.
Yeah. No. You don't get. You're like, oh, I got to get the stones. I could travel. Like no. You have all that shit from the jump. You know, but the thing is, the way the story is placed, you can't use any of this stuff until you hit a certain point. You know.
And I'm guessing that is the same thing with the armors. Like they all just disappear.
Oh yeah. You don't have any of that stuff.
Boy, what happened to that armor, that the Infinity Gauntlet that I created?
Yeah, you don't get. None of that.
I was hoping that it would see if you on your save file that you beat the last one and have some of that gear carry over.
No, nothing like that.
Especially the one that you grind for. It's like come on, I spent a long time. Just let me have some of that shit.
Man, I fought 20 werewolves to get this shit.
Tony had to get his cousin and whatever come out with the Valkyries to get goodies.
Oh, that was my nephew. He beat
your nephew. And then it's like, oh no, that don't carry over. Come on.
Oh, okay. I think you can answer it because it was in one of the trailers. Okay. So, do you have to do the Valkyries bullshit again?
I don't want to spoil that.
No, they were in the trailers that Sony did on the YouTube.
No, I know,
video.
but I don't want to spoil that.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Yeah. He likes to keep things private.
All right, can we move on from this topic?
No, okay.
We're talking about God of War. That's what I'm doing. We do this for every game or big game that I review, dude. What are you talking about?
Carlos is like, yo, man, you get too close to spoilers, man.
Brian's about to ask some question, and
but this is big. You know, I'm not going to answer shit. You know,
these questions are okay. I'm genuinely trying to not ask the obvious questions. Yeah, you know,
but that's a very big spoiler type of question right there. You know.
Well, it's more of a case of because you know how the first one had like all the challenges and stuff like that. The Fire Realm thing where they had work up the mountain. Yeah, so I'm just asking again, these are gameplay things that the games had. Hence, I'm asking okay, are they still there? Which goes into that question, are those challenges back again? Because, well, not in the same way, but because you know how the God of War games had the thing.
There are challenges. I'll leave it at that. There are challenges.
Okay.
It's too bad. It's too bad. If the game doesn't sense that you finish those challenges, and you have to fight those same Valkyries in the new game.
That's why I really was hoping that it would see save file.
No, games in general don't do that though.
There's a few games that
but historically, that's not a thing.
Like the Ratchet and Clank games actually did it. The original, went from.
Yeah. If this is so much of a continuation, that's why I expect. I don't picture it from an Uncharted or something because it's it's a new adventure. But this is keep saying it's the part 1 and now part 2.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, some things should carry over, or some things that you did.
I would say that there's no carryover. It's not you beat God of War 1. You know, there's nothing like that. You know,
at least that's what I was saying. You know, we see that with a lot of games. Division did that. They gave you certain.
That's like a online game. I expect that for online games. You know,
but I mean, there's a few games that actually did.
Yeah, there are, but you can't just use outliers as all for. I'm talking about in general. In general, you don't.
No,
see that,
but it's
But
I feel like why can't these guys do it?
Yeah.
Especially.
I see what you're saying, but they didn't. You know.
And it seems like a cliche that it's just okay, we're doing this again. We're supposedly continuing it over. Well, okay, so what about all the work that you put into the previous one?
At least let's say if you beat the game, right, the first one, and you got certain armor, and that's what you were wearing at the end of the game, it'll see the save file, so you have that, and just give you that. So when it continues, you are wearing that outfit. Because it's you worked hard for this shit. You get that one outfit. That's it. Cool.
So I'm why it almost makes all the shit that you did moot. Okay, if you searched out all those,
but again, you never said that when you played other games and you played the sequel.
No, I mean I've always said it. It's always stupid. It's the dumbest thing ever. And every single game that does it, it's okay, you're a badass. You have all the shit that you had from the previous game, and then they look for some stupid plot contrivance to get it. In this game, they just don't even explain it anymore. They're just oh shit, I forgot all that armor. I literally had a whole backpack full of armor that I just left in a cave somewhere.
Yeah, or maybe got lost within a couple of years. You know,
maybe he says we lost everything in the fire. I told you don't play with matches.
Yeah.
You know,
boy, I told you not to play with the blades of chaos. You burnt down all of my armor that I've worked so long to get.
And
those combos, I can't remember how to do them anymore.
I'm getting old.
Boy, you burned my skill tree.
All right, I have one.
Another
One final
question I probably
question.
can't answer.
And no, you can answer this because this is actually something that I need to know. How is the RPG mechanics? Are they toned down from the first game or toned up from the first game?
They're about the same, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Not buying it.
Yeah, it's about the same. Like, you know, you got to get armor. Like, oh, that motherfucker's too hard for you. You got to level up. You know, so it's the same. It's the same.
Boy, all of my rare purple armor has been destroyed. Why?
Yes,
It's just so many games coming out and playing now. I take no time for that. I look forward to playing it maybe around Christmas time.
I noticed the colors are gone though, which is good. You know how like
Well, it's
purple,
because it's
blue.
winter.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, I thought you meant the colors from the game. Because I'm like, because it's winter.
Yeah, no, you know how like oh, you get the blue armor, you get the purple armor, you get the you know that shit. They don't have that. It's just levels, you know. So which is good, you know.
Okay, so
I'm
they
like,
got
why
rid of the they got rid of all those dumb purple and green armor bullshit.
Yeah, they got rid of that. You know.
They get that from Diablo and all the other games.
Yeah,
That's how they.
it's stupid.
They're all.
You know?
Color. But what you say is stupid, but it helps people in those type of games because then they know if they need to travel over there. So if you're using a projectile weapon, kill a boss or something, and he just dropped a bunch of white stuff, then you know there's no point in going over there.
Yeah.
As opposed to it is a purple something. Oh, it's a rare item, or gold.
Yeah. Because there's some items that are. It's interesting. It's like the armor you wear isn't color coded, but some of the like crafting pieces you pick up are color coded. You know. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, but they didn't really get in my way, Brian. And I don't like that stuff either. You know. But I didn't feel it was intrusive. It's just like, hey, I got enough of this shit. There you go. Make me armor. You know.
I'll make you some armor. I will.
Well, that's something I hope that's not in that Callisto Protocol. I hope they don't bring that freaking workbench back.
Yeah. Oh, the workbench? Wait, wasn't that from the first two games?
That was in they put it in 2 and then 3. Yeah, 2 and 3 did it. The first one didn't have it.
Yeah, we don't need the workbench. You're right.
I don't want to go through the whole hassle and all this fucking parts.
You're like, can't I just get in the vending machine and make some new armor?
Because I mean, the first one had the nodes. You had to collect nodes and put upgrade your stuff.
I'll bring that back. Oh man! All right, I think we're done here. Good show. Do we have anything to plug?
Nothing right now, man.
All right, nothing for you, Adam. Anything?
So,
what's up?
Wait.
Whoa.
Next week, aren't we doing Throwdown on Wednesday?
Yeah, that's not a plug though. I was going to say that to the end of the show after the plugs.
All right. Okay, after the plugs.
Yeah, Adam. Anything to plug?
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. To plug. We got first, I Am Negan, right? That's for The Walking Dead. We got the latest episode. It's episode 22 for The Walking Dead Proper Mothership. That's coming to an end. There's only 2 more episodes after this. This is it. It's the final count.
The final countdown.
This is it. Yeah. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever doesn't happen, if we listen to Carlos's theory, nothing will happen. There will be no climax. This will just roll over into the spinoff theory. So if you're interested, you haven't watched it, or you don't give a shit about watching it, just want to hear about it, then check us out. I Am Deacon, iTunes, Spotify, of course, over at Coalition. We got a bunch of stuff going on. Richard Bailey Jr. just did his review for the God of War, right? Said one of the worst games he's ever played in his life, right? Totally against what Tony just said. And we got some other stuff, got some Call of Duty things going up on there. So, yeah, a lot of stuff going on, man. Keep playing game. Playing game.
Good stuff.
It's serious.
It's a serious game. But yeah, as Manny said, Throwdown will actually be on Wednesday next week because Manny and I are going to go to a concert on Thursday. We don't want to leave you guys in a lurch. So we'll have some stuff for you. So Wednesday, same time, same bat channel, different day,
But
what's up?
One thing I would say to you guys, if we do miss any, because obviously there's still 2 more days, there's two full days of stuff that could possibly happen. So if you want us to talk about anything that we missed that we can't cover on the Wednesday version of Throwdown, just make sure you just drop a question and throw down your questions to just give us an excuse to talk about it.
Yep, there you go. Good stuff. So yeah, man, make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord where the conversations and the rumors are always popping. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words, Throwdown Show. Throwdownshow.com to listen to previous episodes. And if you have been watching us on YouTube and enjoyed the content. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when our premieres go live. Links are located down below. Once again, I was your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
If you didn't know, Call of Duty's out.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
I know.
Brett Murdoch. Deuces. And
Bacon Man.
yeah, he's breaking Bacon Man. And Brian.
Actually, I asked if it's out on PlayStation.
Oh, PlayStation. Oh. What's going on with PlayStation?
Oh.
Oh, I don't know. Brian Manjoma.
Can't wait to find out some God of War spoilers.
All right. All right, people. We'll see you on when. Actually, the Sunday, we got the Sunday show. Ask us questions about gaming stuff. And yeah, see you on Sunday. Later.
Latest.
Peace out.